Alright, you bastards, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today we're going to talk about saws and how they are useful to put in your bug out bag. And we're not going to talk about just the saws that you find in hiking shops or camping stores. We're also going to talk about alternatives or improvisations or some multi-tools. So stay tuned, I would say, because this is not only going to be about these. And before we're going to start, if you're interested in survival courses for prepping in Belgium, there will be a link to my website, survivaltrainingbelgië.be, and also to my book called Bloody Crosses. So if you're interested, take a look in the description. Alright, so why is a saw very important in your bug out bag? First of all, yeah, because it saves so much energy and so much weight and mass that you could have from other tools. So this only weighs about like 200 grams or something. You can change the blades to not only a wood one with this what's the name again, Nordic pocket saw, but it can also be replaced if one of the teeth break out, and that is something that's important for later on. And of course, like I said, it saves weight, saves energy, and I would prefer a saw over an axe, because yeah, an axe you can sharpen, they say. But a saw, you can sharpen that too if you got the right tools. So for example, if you got one of these sharpeners for a saw, like one of these little guys, you can start to sharpen each teeth, but that needs some practice, and also it needs some knowledge on how to do this. So it's a little bit practice so you don't ruin the saw. So best if you're going to practice with one of these sharpeners for a saw blade, do it on a saw that you can replace the saw blade, because otherwise you're ruining a whole perfect saw for it. Alright, so that's the first thing. Second thing I would say is watch out with what kind of saw blades you got. Some saw blades are only pull, so if you don't know it, certain saws have can go both ways, that they will take material away on the pull and going back, so that way you go twice as fast and it saves more energy and it's more handier. But if you got one of the, watch out that if you got one of the saws that you can only take material away with the pull material, with the pull of the saw blade. So that's something that you need to watch out for. Another thing I want to warn you to watch out for is, I'm going to open this saw and you will see directly what I mean. What is the difference between these two saws? First of all, yeah, the price. This one is like, what was it, 39 euros, and this one was only like 12 euros. But as you can see, there's a big difference between these, and one of the difference is, as you can see, this one got rust on it, and this one, after all the times that I used it, has not. And that is very handy for a long-term scenario. Of course, you could oil it in with W40 to keep it clean and maintain it, of course. But the problem is sometimes you leave it too long in your bag, or you don't use it that much, or you didn't put enough oil properly on top of it. Can happen. So yeah, and like I said, this one is one of those saw blades that you cannot really replace. You can replace them, but it's very hard to find a replacement for these, because these are just cheap saws that you should throw away after they are damaged or they are not working anymore. So yeah, that's the reason why you should get a saw that you can just take off and put back on, instead of these one-time use throwaway. And this is also a little bit heavier, because it's just made out of iron, and this is made out of stainless steel, hardened stainless steel. So that's a big difference. In weight, they are about the same size, but like I said, the price is just the same. So yeah, let's test it out, by the way. So we're going to saw in each notch. We will saw for like, let's say 5 seconds, and we'll see how deep we will get inside of it. Let's first on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, So as you can see, we are quite deep inside of this one, so that's a very good saw. Let's try it with the cheaper one to see how well it will do. And we will also saw for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, it's maybe not that much. It's a little bit, it's like half a centimeter less deep, but I had the feeling that I had to saw a little bit more with it. So yeah, that's perhaps because this one has been used much more than this one, but I can feel a little bit of a difference. All right, next thing I would say is the next thing I would say is just a regular saw. Yeah, that is obviously, and that is more if you're going on how do you say this, for a long-term bug out instead, because this is handier for a short-term bug out. And this one is perhaps handier if you're going on with a non-com bag. I made a video about a non-com bag, and this one could be handier for more long-term. This one is also made out of a more sturdy material that is less prone to rust. And what also is handier is about this is you can change the blades easier. And what is also handy is you can perhaps you can use it on double sides. So this one has teeth on both sides. So if you accidentally ruined one of your teeth that is not going well anymore, you can just turn around, and so you got 2 blades for one. And as you can see, one blade is that smaller and more teeth, and the other one is for bigger. So you can do bigger materials with one side and finer materials with the other side. So the only downside is if you're going to want to use one that is longer, you have to find a way to protect the side. So perhaps wrap it into some carton so you don't damage the inside of your bug out bag, and also so you don't I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, also that you don't bend the saw blades, because this one is very sturdy. This one, as you can see, is a little bit more wobbly. So if you saw, there is a chance that you will go a little bit to the side, and then you get a bend, or you will break one of the teeth. So that's not good. So a longer blade could potentially have one of these troubles. So be very aware of that. So let's do a little test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as you can see, I demonstrated that if I go too fast, you get one of these bendings, and that way you can potentially damage your saw blade. And it didn't went as deep as the other one. Yeah, yet again half a centimeter deep. So yeah, and this one is also very cheap. So you have to make an account for between cost and durable material and quality. But if you got nothing else than this will be sufficient for a long-term bug out bag. So another one you can do is, and it is in my earlier survival knife, this one has a double, if you can see, has a double saw blade on the back of the knife. I'm not going to use this knife anymore. I have made, or I'm going to make a video about my new survival knife that is a little bit more better. But if you want to be multifunctional in just a short-term bug out scenario, then this could be a little bit of a multifunctional tool. Let's see how good this will do. We're going in for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, it is not going nearly through enough, and that is also because it's not only a double saw blade, as you can see, but yeah, you have to take more material away, and it's a shorter blade. But if you want to be multifunctional, this is, I would say, a fairly good solution between compensation if you're not planning to make on shelters or make too big of a campfires, but just for a short-term bug scenario. I would say this could help you break up smaller twigs, branches, but for a bigger one like this, you have to use more energy. And to be honest, because it's a bigger blade, there is less chance that the teeth will break or be, how do you say this, will be less useful after profusely used. So that's the reason why this could be handier if you have one of these to sharpen the the, the teeth on the saw. So this is another one. And if you really want to improvise, this is a folding shovel. And as you can see, the side of the folding shovel has is serrated. And many people would think that this is because you can use it as a saw for doing big branches, but actually it is actually more designed to cut through roots. If you're going to dig in ground and there is some big roots from a tree nearby, then you can serrate it, and with the other side, which is sharp, you can chop it off. So that's the reason why I bring this up, because many people confuse this for a saw that you can use on a branch. In a pinch, perhaps you can use it on smaller branches, but for a big one like this, I will show you, I will demonstrate how, first of all, that is not really a handy way to hold it as a saw. So let's try that out. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 4, 5. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, this is where my finger is. That is not really deep. It is awkward to hold, and yeah, like I said, that is not meant for to saw through big things. It's more like if you're digging to saw a little bit through the roots like this from a distance. So if you're going to do this with something thick like this, yeah, you don't get the how do you say this, the power to, or the grip to hold it on like this. So that's the reason why I show this, to get this myth a little bit out of the prepper community. But in a pinch, you can use it if you don't have anything else, but it will take a long time to get through something like this. All right, so this was the video about the different types of saw to put in your bug out bag for several reasons, or perhaps for budget reasons, or for quality, for short-term, long-term, improvisation, multifunctionality. It's something that you need to decide on yourself. I would say you can never go wrong with one of these pocket saws inside of your bug out bag, but yeah, that's your own decision that you have to take. If you're going to pull them up, it's just something like this. And yeah, this was, if you got any other tools to use as a saw, please let me know in the video in the comments. But I will not talk. I made a video before anyone types in the video about these ropes with 2 rings on top of it. I already made a video about this, why they suck. I would say look at them. Why? Because they break easily. I showed it inside of the video. And also one of those there are also 2 rings with something that is like the chain around a chainsaw, which operates on a similar manner. Yeah, but that one is a little bit more heavier, and yeah, it's not really something that I would like to use for certain reasons. Perhaps I will make a video about it in the future, but from what I already tried with a friend, it's not really to my taste. So I will keep it to something like this. And don't be afraid to lay some money for a quality saw, because like I showed you, these cheaper ones can rust. They're a little bit more heavier. They are more prone to bend and to have some breakage on the teeth. So, and what I also like, I perhaps have not mentioned it already, I forgot, but if I haven't mentioned yet, if you got one of these saws, these Nordic pocket saws, you can also replace the blade with a metal saw. So if you're in a more suburban or urban environment, you can change this to a metal saw in case you need to build shelter in a urban environment, or to recoup some materials in other ways with your bug bag. So yeah, or get inside somewhere or outside of somewhere, can be very handy for that. All right, I think I'm ready here. So like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and leave a comment in the video about if you got any other ideas besides the ropes saws. And like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and see you in the next video. Cheers.